If you're not into the game of gambling with meme coins or buying very manipulated tokens, there aren't too many assets that currently appreciate. Hyperliquid is one of them though, and for good reason. Interestingly enough, the attention on the Hype token, the native token of Hyperliquid, is still rather low among the typical retail investor. That being said, the protocol is growing extremely fast and is now in the multiple $billion in pure stablecoin total value locked. So this is USDC and USDT. This is not an artificially inflated TVL, where an illiquid coin is held in high numbers. This is not what's going on here. This is genuine adoption. Now, of course, Hyperliquid is a platform to bet on crypto prices with leverage in a decentralized way. For the people that don't want to get that much risk, there's also the liquidity provider. It combines various strategies and makes quite constant returns at 10% APR. There's now almost $400 million just in this HLP. We've been talking about this several times on this channel, but especially for trending tokens, for tokens with a lot of volatility, we tend to see more trading volume on the perpetual futures market than on the spot market. So really, a lot of price discovery doesn't happen anymore directly on chain or on spot. It happens on the derivatives. And within that market, Hyperliquid is taking over. It's already the juggernaut. It's already dominating all of the decentralized perpetual futures trading. So it was really DYDX on the Ethereum chain that started this whole business model. But now recently it is Hyperliquid, so this area here in turquoise, that's making up the vast majority of perpetual futures trading volume. So yesterday that was 49.3 billion. Have a look at the market share of the top 10 over time. Again, this is all decentralized. The Hyperliquid perps have a market share of 75% with the tendency of further expanding. Now, why is this data relevant? It's relevant because trading activity attracts capital. Capital attracts more usage of the token because the token has direct impact on the trading fees of the platform. Thus, the price of the token can likely increase if Hyperliquid continues to grow. Now, there's a positive and negative side to the story. The positive side is that obviously Hyperliquid is taking more and more market share. The negative side is there isn't that much more market share to take, at least within decentralized finance. And this is where I believe the next growth catalyst for Hyperliquid will come from. Hyperliquid is likely going to take over more and more of the perp trading volume of the centralized exchanges. It's already growing much faster than the Binance perps are growing. So this shows now Hyperliquid's trading volume relative to Binance, and we are now at 16%. We're taking over more and more market share, and this will likely continue to grow. And so perp trading as a whole in decentralized finance is likely going to grow because it will take away the market share from the centralized exchanges. The centralized exchanges are the ones that suffer here. It's the user, of course, in the end that gains because we have our self-custody that's safer, and we also have potentially less manipulation. Hyperliquid is not just the perpetual futures exchange. There is an entire chain behind it, and that chain has several protocols, and those other protocols are also growing. We've got a borrowing and lending platform called Hyperlend with already 350 million of TVL. So the stablecoins on the perp exchange are growing, but also the stablecoins outside of that. That's also a growth market. It might not grow as quickly as Hype itself, but still it's good that the blockchain itself gets some support. And so it's no real surprise that Hyperliquid is able to outperform the rest. Here is Hype relative to Ethereum. I think there's a good chance that this will continue. So since October 2024, Hyperliquid outperformed Ethereum by 350%. And my impression is that this is, of course, people just buying the Hype token spot, but also potentially levering up the exposure. Because have a look at what's mainly traded in the perpetual futures market on Hyperliquid. We've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and XRP, but Hype is already at number 5. Have a look at the open interest of Hype over time. So that's now how many bets on the Hyperliquid token are being done. And this continues to grow very nicely. And of course, there is some correlation between the spot price and the perp open interest. Because most people that bet on hype, they do so on the long side, as in they're betting on rising prices. The longs have to pay the shorts. Now, I try to be as objective as possible on this channel, and I never buy a cryptocurrency to then afterwards promote this on the channel to then dump on you. I always first publish the video and then eventually afterwards I might consider buying. That's true for Hyperliquid. But here's the information that's not so great. Yes, there is a lot of adoption, a lot of usage of hype, but the number of hype tokens will also grow over time. So we are currently at 373 million, and this is an inflating token. There is a maximum supply of 1 billion. The token supply will 3x at some point over the years. But I think that's not necessarily a problem, because the growth is constant, the growth is massive, and we're likely going to do more than just a 3x by taking over market share against all of those centralized exchanges, not just Binance, what we see over here. So we've got positive momentum, we've got a growing user base, we've got more and more capital flowing in, we've also got an inflating token, but I think the token inflation is somewhat manageable given how much upside there still is and given how fast the growth is. Seeing the hype token outperform, I think, is justified, and it's likely going to continue. I don't have a crystal ball, but that's where I will bet my money on. After this video, after publishing of this video, I will very likely buy some hype as well. Maybe I will wait for a dip. Maybe I will dollar cost average in. I haven't yet made that decision, but in general, I think it's one of the best plays in crypto right now. Now, to really outperform in crypto, we have to be early. We have to buy before the masses do. We have to buy the assets that aren't necessarily that popular at the time, that will become popular at some point. And so in the end, crypto isn't really that complicated. It's all about spotting trends before the masses. It's not that different to fashion or any other industry that lives from attention shift. For example, who was able to buy virtual or SPX very early? The people that spotted those trends early, that bought in early, are likely going to buy the next thing also before the masses. Have a look at this. Kyle Chessy bought SPX at 49 cents. And now we are at $1.55. Or have a look at Fatcoin. Kyle Chessy bought that at 4.5 cents. And now it's at $1.28. Here is Kyle Chessy. So he's got his own YouTube channel with 153,000 subscribers. And we are tracking his wallets. So we've got 12 wallets that we found out via on-chain analytics, via the NFTs that he owns, via the centralized exchange addresses he has, via very distinct token transactions. So we found his wallets, we are tracking them, and we get alerts whenever he's buying and selling. I'll have a look at this purchase. This is Brian Young, and he bought Virtual at 7 cents. Virtual is now at $1.92. Here's his YouTube channel. He's got more than 2 million subscribers. And we are tracking 5 of his wallets. In total, we track almost 600 wallets across various influencers. And again, we get the signals whenever those people buy and sell. Now, it's very hard to say whether or not those influencers make all the money because they are insiders or because they are smarter than others or because they influence the market. But when they are buying into something with heavy amounts, then there's a good likelihood that there's some kind of market edge. The problem, though, is that many of those influencers are not buying anything with heavy amounts right now. The issue is that the market currently is rather calm, and even the large influencers don't get that many views on their videos anymore. Yes, this is the performance of crypto in the last year, and there were a few nice winners, but the picture in the last month looks very different, and there is a good reason for that, because retail interest is going down. The reason why the Bitcoin price is still relatively high is not because of retail. Bitcoin dominance continues to climb. So Bitcoin as a fraction of all of crypto tends to creep up. And the reason is constant accumulation by the Bitcoin treasury companies. So that's led by Michael Saylor with MicroStrategy, but other companies are following as well. So that's demand driver number 1. Demand driver number 2 is the Bitcoin ETFs. So the Bitcoin ETFs tend to buy more and more BTC over time. We are now at an all-time high of those holdings. So it's Wall Street, it's traditional finance that's buying Bitcoin. Interest by retail, on the other hand, is very low. So here's the number of search queries for crypto in blue, for Bitcoin in red for the last year. This peaked in November 2024. Since then is going down sharply. But the price of Bitcoin is not going down. Bitcoin's dominance continues to rise and the Bitcoin price as well. Again, the market dynamic has clearly changed, and what worked in the last year might not work this year anymore. And so I'm just fascinated how many people try the same approach even though the fundamentals are changing. A lot of people simply have a broadly diversified altcoin portfolio. They own 10, 20 altcoins, and then they wonder why they don't perform as well as Bitcoin does. If most altcoins underperform Bitcoin most of the time, if Bitcoin dominance is rising because it's Wall Street that's pouring money into the system and it's not the retail investor, then that's just logical, right? This is to be expected. We have to adjust our strategies, and I definitely did. I'm, for example, buying this here. Now, this is an Ethereum chart, but not a regular one. It's Ethereum relative to Balancer. So I'm betting on a relative valuation. I'm betting on Balancer doing worse than Ethereum, and this can grow the portfolio extremely quickly. Again, most altcoins underperform Bitcoin and Ethereum most of the time, and that is because of tokenomics. The supply of most altcoins grows very, very quickly, and the demand doesn't grow as quickly because the number of altcoins is going up, and so there's more and more competition. But also, we need to see massive adoption usually. So supply grows very fast. So the number of Balancer tokens moved from 20 million all the way to 70 million in the span of 4 years. And the question is, can Balancer really grow that much quicker than Bitcoin? Or in this example, Ethereum? The answer obviously is no. And this is how it can make money in a market where the vast majority of altcoins is going down and where retail interest is still lackluster. Just have a look at the trades in our community recently. Most of those trades bet on falling prices, and that's the way to make money in the system. It's not necessarily trying to find the next 100x altcoin if there's no new people entering the space. We want to bet on altcoin devaluation, relatively speaking. Again, because there might not be another 100x altcoin in this market. If the influencers start buying small altcoins again, then of course we're going to change our strategy as well. If people start watching YouTube content on crypto again, then of course we change our approach as well. But right now the market is extremely calm and we have to adjust our strategy accordingly. I am of course sharing my own trades as well, and every 3 to 4 days I publish a premium update video. For example, here I'm watching WorldCoin closely. That was on the 26th of May. And then 4 days later, I closed the WorldCoin short. And so that's announced in a separate channel as well. And even though not every single one of my trades will end up in profit, you can feel free to just copy trade me. Again, we want to have the odds in our favor. And the way we do this is to simply flip this chart around. Everything that's red becomes green. Everything that's green becomes red. And so if you did not outperform Bitcoin by trading altcoins, then feel free to check it out, right? Premium is currently $125 per month. It's not $165, that's the price during the bull market, but you can lock in the current rate. So if you now sign up for $125, your rate will not increase. You have that forever. If you don't want to sign up via credit card, there's also the way to pay in crypto. The minimum duration for crypto payment is 3 months. Please do not fall for scams. So I only communicate for premium payments via Telegram, and my handle is Gerhard1986. Please do not message with anybody else in Telegram. I only use this account, and I also don't use Discord or Twitter or WhatsApp or any other platform for premium signups. So please make sure you've got the right handle and don't fall for scam. If it's your first time over here, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. If you're interested in premium, there's the link directly here on the screen. Just click on that. It will lead you to the sign up page. So see you in premium or see you on YouTube.